Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Orange and Brown Talk podcast here on a Tuesday. Dan Labbe with Mary Kay Cabot. We continue our Hey Mary Kay edition of the podcast. Part one, of course, was on Monday. Go back in your feed and look for that to hear some talk about replacing the quarterbacks coach and also some free agency priorities. Lots of good stuff there. We are going to start today before we get to our questions with the news of the day, the really big news of the day, which is the Browns Mary Kay making another change at the coordinator position. Mike Priefer is out. Not entirely unexpected, at least if you go back to the end of the season, but maybe a little surprising it took this long. So I guess I'll just start by asking, why now with Mike Priefer? Why did it get to, we're recording this on February 21st, and this is the day that the Browns made this decision?
Well, because you have to make sure that you have the replacement that you want, or be reasonably sure that you have the replacement that you want before you can go firing your special teams coordinator. We soon came to find out that Kevin Stefanski would like to hire Bubba Ventrone, former Browns safety Bubba Ventrone, former Browns special teams captain Bubba Ventrone, for this job. I actually think he'd be fantastic for this job. High energy, great guy. Players will love playing for him. He understands the position. Guys will want to run through the wall for him. I think he brings exactly what the Browns need in their coaching staff. Someone young, energetic, fired up about things. And I think it's going to be a tremendous hire if they can pull it off. So they must have had some reasonable expectation that they could get Bubba here before they went ahead and pulled the trigger on Mike Priefer. So we'll see how it goes. The Colts have a new head coach in Shane Steichen. He's actually pretty good friends with Kevin Stefanski. But maybe Shane decided that he wanted to keep Bubba Ventrone, and maybe they're working on doing something to keep him around and, adding to his title or giving him a raise or something, whatever the case may be. It seems like at some point today, it reached a critical juncture where the Colts maybe were not going to grant that permission for the Browns to interview him. So we'll have to see where that one goes. Very interesting, but that's what happens in these 11th hour situations. That's why it took so long. And then I think, anytime I ever wrote about Mike Priefer, I always couched it by saying, at this point, it seems like he's safe, but nothing is written in stone. I think I put it like that a bunch of different times. I always knew that if they could find somebody that they wanted to replace him with, somebody that they felt was an upgrade over Prief, that they would do it. And they consider Bubba Ventrone to be that. He's excellent at his job. We'll have to see if they can land him.
And you also mentioned on this pod a number of times that some of this stuff was going to wait until the hiring cycle played out. And this was a long hiring cycle because we had the Cardinals who didn't make their hire until the day after the Super Bowl. So that seemed to delay a lot of things, not just for the Browns, but also kind of league wide. So is there anything to read into sort of all the changes that the Browns have made this offseason? Of course, it started with Joe Woods. We've seen Jim Schwartz has kind of given guys opportunities to go out and find new jobs of their own. Instead of just, firing guys, he brings in his own assistants. Now they're going with a new special teams coordinator. Is there anything to read into this as far as, it's kind of like now or never for Kevin and this staff? Like, he's got to put together the right staff to go start winning football games now.
Yeah, things change over the years, and 3 years in, it's not ideal to have to go and overhaul your whole staff, which is basically what he's doing. When you fire 2 of your coordinators out of 3 and you lose your quarterbacks coach and a couple of other guys, that's an overhaul of your staff. They've also parted ways with Jeff Howard, the secondary coach, and Chris Kiffin, the defensive line coach. As we mentioned before, those 2 guys, you can rest assured, were probably told, hey, we've got Jim Schwartz in here as the new defensive coordinator. You guys are free to go look elsewhere, because those were lateral moves. That's the tip off that wasn't like, oh, hey, we're going to go get a better job. That was like, okay, you guys go see what you can find. So that was what that was all about. And then Drew Petzing, obviously he got a promotion. He's going to be calling plays for Jonathan Gannon and for quarterback Kyler Murray in Arizona as soon as he's healed from his torn ACL. But in addition to the Cardinals, the Browns, in addition to the Cardinals waiting until after the Super Bowl to hire their head coach, the Colts did the same thing. And so that's why the Browns really had to kind of wait and find out what Shane Steichen, their new offensive head coach, was going to do with his staff and with, of course, Bubba Ventrone. But I think what it means for the Browns, I don't think it necessarily means that Kevin Stefanski's on the hot seat and, and that that this is it, this is the prove it year for him, or he's going to be gone. I don't think they're looking at it like that at all. I think it was an opportunity for him to fix some things that were going wrong. And, we've known for a while that there were